Imagine standing in midfield and watching someone 6 feet 2 inches tall, beginning to run towards you. You expect power. You expect strength. You prepare for a battle. Instead, he glides past you. His first touch is perfect. His balance is effortless. His stride eats up 20 yards in seconds. Before you've even turned around, he's gone. Football wasn't trying to stop Yaya Touré. Football was trying to understand him. Because there was no answer. For Yaya Touré. 4 generations. Football believed midfielders had limits. Some could defend. Some could create. Some could score. Some could lead. Nobody was supposed to do everything. Then Yaya Touré arrived. And quietly ignored every rule the game had ever written. He defended. He created. He scored. He dominated. He made the impossible look inevitable. Born in Bouak, Ivory Coast, in 1983, Yaya didn't grow up dreaming about becoming impossible. He simply dreamed about becoming a footballer. Like millions of children across Africa, football wasn't entertainment. It was opportunity. It was hope. It was freedom. Alongside his older brother Kolo, every dusty pitch became another classroom. Every match another lesson. Every defeat another reason to improve. Greatness wasn't waiting for him. He had to go and find it. Leaving home at a young age wasn't glamorous. No headlines. No television cameras. No promises. Just a suitcase. A football. And a belief that somewhere, someone would recognize what he could become. Belgium asked the first question. Could this powerful young midfielder succeed in Europe? Ukraine asked another. Could he cope with a tougher league? Greece wondered if he was ready to lead. France questioned whether he belonged among the elite. Every country asked something different. Football kept giving exactly the same answer. There was no answer. For Yaya Touré, the first thing people noticed was always his size. The second was how quickly they realized size meant nothing. He wasn't lumbering. He wasn't awkward. He wasn't predictable. He carried the ball like it was tied to his boots. He could burst through midfield without losing control. Opponents tried to push him off the ball. Most ended up bouncing backwards instead. It didn't look normal. Because it wasn't. Children usually dream of becoming strikers. They dream about scoring winning goals. Nobody dreams of becoming a midfielder until they watch someone who changes what a midfielder can be. Yaya Touré wasn't simply playing the position. He was redefining it. By the time he arrived at Monaco, Europe had stopped asking whether he was talented. Now they were asking something far more dangerous. How good could he become? Managers trusted him. Supporters admired him. Opponents feared him. He could slow a game down with one touch, or explode through the middle with the next. He dictated tempo. He carried responsibility. He made difficult football look remarkably simple. Football wasn't trying to stop Yaya Touré. Football was trying to understand him. Then came Barcelona, the greatest footballing classroom in the world. A club where technique wasn't admired. It was expected. Some wondered whether someone built like Yaya could ever fit into Pep Guardiola's vision. Strength wasn't supposed to belong in a team built on elegance. Yaya quietly proved strength and elegance could exist together. Surrounded by Xavi, Andres Iniesta, Lionel Messi, Sergio Busquets. Some players would have disappeared into the background. Yaya never needed to. He understood something many footballers never do. You don't have to be the loudest player to become one of the most important. Need somebody to recover possession? Yaya. Need somebody to break 3 defensive lines with one run? Yaya. Need somebody to remain calm while everyone else panics? Yaya. He became the balance inside one of football's greatest teams. The player who made brilliance possible. Then, Football witnessed one of the greatest examples of trust. The 2009 UEFA Champions League final. Barcelona faced Manchester United. The biggest night in club football. Pep Guardiola looked at his squad. Injuries had left him short in defense. He had a decision to make. Play a defender. Or trust his midfielder. He chose Yaya Touré. Against Cristiano Ronaldo. Against Wayne Rooney. Against the European champions. On the biggest stage imaginable. Most players would have seen pressure. Yaya Touré saw responsibility. Barcelona won. The treble was complete. Europe belonged to Barcelona. And Yaya Touré had shown the football world something extraordinary. He wasn't just capable of playing every role. He could master them. Most players would have stayed forever. Most players had already reached the top. Most players would never leave the greatest team in world football. Yaya Touré wasn't most players. Waiting in England was a club with enormous ambition. A club determined to change football forever. What they didn't know yet was that they had found the one midfielder capable of changing them first. Because the impossible was only just beginning. Manchester City weren't simply buying a midfielder. They were buying belief. Belief that they could challenge the established order. Belief that they could compete with Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool. Belief that they could become champions. They had ambition. Yaya Touré gave them identity. English football thought it knew what midfielders looked like. Hard-working, disciplined, box-to-box. Yaya Touré arrived and looked like something entirely different. He wasn't simply stronger than everyone else. He wasn't simply quicker. He wasn't simply more technical. He was all of those things at the same time. Football wasn't trying to stop Yaya Touré. Football was trying to understand him. Week after week, the impossible became routine. He collected the ball deep inside his own half. 3 opponents closed him down. 1 touch. 2 strides. Suddenly, they were chasing shadows. His long stride covered ground effortlessly. His balance refused to disappear. His strength made tackles feel almost meaningless. Watching him run through midfield felt less like football, and more like watching nature. Like trying to stop a river with your hands. There was no answer. For Yaya Touré, great players shine in big moments. Icons create them. In the 2011 FA Cup final, Manchester City were searching for their first major trophy in 35 years. Pressure surrounded every pass, every tackle, every decision. Then Yaya Touré did what he always seemed to do. He found the moment. His winning goal against Stoke City didn't just win a trophy. It changed the mentality of an entire football club. Sometimes, one goal changes history. 12 months later, Manchester City stood on the brink of something even bigger. The Premier League title. A battle that would last until the final seconds of the season. Everyone remembers Sergio Aguero. And rightly so. But championship-winning teams aren't built in 93 minutes. They're built across 38 games. Yaya Touré was the heartbeat of that title-winning side. The power. The composure. The player who carried Manchester City through moments when everything threatened to fall apart. Without him, there may never have been an Aguero moment. Then came 2013-14. The season many believe redefined what a midfielder could be. 20 Premier League goals. 20. From midfield. Not penalties alone. Not late tap-ins. Goals of every kind. Long-range strikes. Powerful runs. Delicate finishes. Free kicks. Big goals. Beautiful goals. Goals that win championships. Football wasn't supposed to work like this. Yaya Touré simply ignored the rulebook. Managers searched for ways to stop him. Press him. He played through it. Stand off. He drove forward. Double mark him. He found the spare man. Leave him space. He punished you from distance. Every tactical solution created another problem. Because there wasn't one version of Yaya Touré. There were 10. The same dominance carried on to the international stage. For Ivory Coast. He wasn't just their greatest player. He was their leader. Their captain. Their symbol of hope. Year after year. Expectation followed him everywhere. The weight of a nation rested on his shoulders. He never hid from it. He embraced it. In 2015, that patience was finally rewarded. Ivory Coast lifted the Africa Cup of Nations. For millions back home, it wasn't simply a football victory. It was a national celebration. A generation's dream fulfilled. And standing at the center of it all was Yaya Touré. Football wasn't trying to stop Yaya Touré. Football was trying to understand him. 4 times, he was named African Footballer of the Year. An extraordinary achievement. But awards only tell part of the story. Statistics tell another. The real measure of greatness is what people remember. Ask defenders. They'll remember trying to take the ball from him. Ask midfielders. They'll remember chasing him. Ask supporters. They'll remember rising from their seats every time he started to run. Because they knew something special might happen. Time eventually catches every footballer. Even the impossible. The explosive runs became less frequent. The games a little slower. New generations arrived. Football changed once again. But Yaya Touré had already changed it first. Today, when people speak about complete midfielders, his name is always part of the conversation. Not because he did one thing brilliantly. Because he did everything brilliantly. He defended, created, scored, led, inspired, dominated. He proved that one player could influence every phase of a football match. That wasn't evolution. It was transformation. Perhaps that's why Yaya Touré remains so difficult to compare. Who was really like him? A midfielder with the physique of a defender. The technique of a playmaker. The finishing of a striker. The composure of a champion. Football has produced great midfielders before. It has produced complete midfielders before. But none who combined every gift quite the way Yaya Touré did. There was no answer. For Yaya Touré, some players leave behind medals. Some leave behind records. Some leave behind unforgettable goals. Yaya Touré left behind something much rarer. He changed what football believed a midfielder could become. And perhaps that's why the question still has no perfect answer. How was Yaya Touré even possible? Because some players fit perfectly into football's history. Yaya Touré rewrote part of it. And that is why he will always remain a true footballing icon. Where does Yaya Touré rank among the greatest midfielders of all time?